All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It is a great day in Baltimore. I am so honored to be joined this morning by our MTA Administrator, Holly Arnold, our Executive Director of Overdose Response, Sarah Whaley, our Impact President, Tiffany Scott. No relation, just get that out the way. We always have to say that. And Delegate Wells, Councilman Torrance, and Councilwoman Porter. We are proud to be here today to announce a new partnership between the city, state, and the Maryland Peer Advisory Council to provide Naloxone kits and on-demand training at metro stations throughout Baltimore City. For those who are from Baltimore, that means the subway. Naloxone is a life-saving tool that each and every one of us can use to help stop a person from overdosing. As a part of our citywide overdose response strategic plan, my team has been working to make sure that naloxone is readily accessible and that as many residents as possible know how to use it. The partnership is a key step forward in that work. These one boxes will be stocked and maintained by the all-star team at the Maryland Peer Advisory Council, and we are so grateful to Tiffany and her organization for their partnership on this initiative and so many others across Baltimore. I also want to recognize the significance of where we are cutting this ribbon today. The recent mass overdose events in Penn North have underscored the importance of making sure that every resident has access to naloxone and other life-saving resources to prevent overdoses no matter their circumstances. In this neighborhood, we see the gravity of the overdose crisis front and center, but we also see the power of community, the power of residents who continue to show up for one another. We see community leaders, city staff, and volunteers alike coming together with one mission: save as many lives as possible. Today marks another milestone in our work to end this crisis here and across our city. Because every overdose is preventable, together we build a Baltimore where each and every one of us can thrive. And now I will turn it over to our MTA Administrator, Holly Arnold. Holly?
All right, thank you, Mayor Scott. Good morning. I'm Holly Arnold. I'm the Administrator of the Maryland Transit Administration, and I want to thank you for joining us here to launch this critical initiative. At MTA, our mission is to connect people to jobs, to education, healthcare, wherever they may need to go. Connecting people also means that we care for people, and sometimes the personal challenges that people experience follow them into our public spaces, including our transit system. That's why we're proud to work in partnership with Mayor Scott and city officials to bring the naloxone boxes to our transit stations. These partnerships reflect the simple truth that public transit does not exist outside of the environment and the community that we serve. When our community faces a crisis, we feel it too, and we want to be part of the solution. This effort complements our recently implemented Rider Code of Conduct, which helps to assert a safe and respectful ride for everyone, and the Maryland Department of Transportation's Serious About Safety initiative. We're also partnering with nonprofit organizations to provide voluntary naloxone administration training for our employees that are interested in helping the community. At MTA, we're focused on fostering a transit system that reflects our community values, safety, respect, and compassion. I want to thank our city partners for their leadership and collaboration on this process, and I want to thank our MTA employees for their continued commitment to keeping our riders and our community safe. Today, with the implementation of this life-saving naloxone one box at our key metro subway stations, we're sending a powerful message that saving lives, supporting the community, and showing respect for all of our riders is everyone's job. And we're proud to do our part here at MTA. So thank you, and now I'd like to invite up our partner in this effort, Sarah Whaley, the Baltimore City Executive Director of Overdose Response.
Good morning, friends. My name is Sarah Whaley, and I'm the Executive Director of Overdose Response here in Baltimore City, and I'm very proud to have this role. I want to begin by echoing the Mayor's appreciation to our colleagues at the Maryland Transit Administration and the Maryland Peer Advisory Council for their partnership in this work that we are announcing today. We would not be cutting this ribbon if it weren't for Administrator Arnold's fantastic team at MTA and the amazing team of peers working with Tiffany Scott at MPAC. Today's announcement strikes at the heart of what we are doing through the Baltimore City Mayor's Office of Overdose Response. And that is bringing people and partners together to make sure that life-saving resources are easily and readily accessible to every resident across the city. And access to naloxone in public spaces is a huge step forward. In July, the mayor published Baltimore City's preliminary overdose response strategic plan for 2025 through 2027. One of the central themes of the plan was ensuring low barrier or easy to access naloxone where people live and where they spend time, especially in communities that are disproportionately impacted by the overdose crisis. Here in Penn North, where we have seen how access to naloxone and other harm reduction resources have saved lives during times of emergency, including the mass overdose events experienced in July and last month. And we know the importance of making sure that these resources continue to remain easy to access through communities long after these kind of events occur. When we talk about making these kinds of harm reduction resources and services low barrier, that's exactly what we mean and what we're doing here. We're removing any obstacle that may make things difficult and make them easy and available. Every week, thousands of Baltimoreans pass through metro stations, turnstiles on their way to and from home, on their way to work or to class, to see friends and family. And now, thanks to the leadership of the mayor, MTA, and MPAC, naloxone will be readily available to them through these one boxes, all across the city. This means that whether a resident wants to pick up some naloxone just to have on hand, or if there's an emergency, it will be here in their local metro station. What's also great about the one box is that they come equipped with a screen that plays a brief instructional video on how to use naloxone. That means that any resident who does not know how to use the naloxone can learn how to use it when they stop to pick some up. Through the one boxes, we are bringing both naloxone and naloxone training closer to reach for thousands of residents. And I want to highlight that this initiative with MPAC is being funded through our opioid restitution funds. We are also, through this initiative, reminding every person who passes through these metro stations that with naloxone they pick up from these one boxes, they can save a life. Because when we have the right tools and when we look out for one another, we can prevent overdoses and help build a Baltimore where we can all thrive together. And to thrive, the first step we have to do is stay alive. And so with that, I will turn it over to Tiffany Scott, the president of the Maryland Peer Advisory Council.
Today, we're taking one step closer to making Baltimore a safer community. We know that individuals travel on subways, trains, and other forms of transportation daily. But not too often do we get an opportunity to raise awareness, create opportunity for overdose prevention and access to recovery. That's exactly what the One Box is doing. You can reach the One Box at any time at any metro station by the end of the week. By Friday, all boxes will be installed on the trains. What it does is it trains you not only in English but also in Spanish. It has naloxone inside and also PPE, personal protective equipment, for individuals if they decide they want to be a responder. It's about choice, voice and choice. But more importantly, it has the connection of peer recovery support specialists who are here in the room with us to create access to the linkages of services and care. We cannot do this service alone. We need the community partners, such as those who are here, near and far, to be able to create access, resources, and connections with linkages to services. And that's exactly what the One Box does. It creates the conversation, the introduction that recovery is possible and supports are available. So we do thank our partners at MTA and the Mayor's Office of Overdose Response and other community partners who are standing here in this room. We cannot do this service alone. So again, I thank you so much for the opportunity. I look forward to connecting with you. If you're interested in our services, don't be afraid to reach out. For all the peer recovery specialists and all the providers that are present here today, thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, ladies, and thank you all again for this day, which is a very important day in our battle against the overdose and opioid crisis in our city. Thank you, everybody. We'll take some questions from the media before we cut the ribbon, or before Tiffany cuts the ribbon. She didn't know that until now.
Morning, everyone. Scott Massioni with WYPR. Why the metro stations? Why is this a good spot? Or have you seen a lot of overdoses in this particular area? And what makes this a central location for naloxone access?
Hold on. Yeah, the trains don't stop. Trains got to move. The last part, the microphone's over.
Yeah. What makes this a good spot for naloxone access?
Well, I think that you have to understand that people travel, and you think about the thousands of people that travel through here every day. Obviously, Penn North has seen this particular stop, have seen the overdoses that happen outside, but we have to provide this anywhere we know people are going to be walking to and fro, right? It could be somebody who's traveling from who knows where that might know that their neighbor might need, or their family member. We want to be able to have this resource where we know that people are, so that people can be prepared.
And could Sarah give us a little more in-depth look into how the restitution funds are used in this? Is there a certain contractor you're working with, or how much cost it may be for this particular initiative?
Great question. So this is part of MPAC's grant. So MPAC was named in one of the settlements to receive an earmark amount of funds. And through the contract that we signed with MPAC, this is one part of the programs and services that MPAC will be providing to the city through that grant. So this is just one part. This work in the metro stations is one part of the Go Purple project, which is getting naloxone into you can speak to that, but into businesses across the city. And so this is one part of the Go Purple initiative. Anything you want to add, Tiffany?
So from the opiate restitution funds, we were able to provide opportunities for employment with peers to be able to staff the Go Purple project, and that's creating awareness in non-traditional places and traditional places such as the subway. We also will be engaging barbershops, nail hair salons, businesses. There's a one box in the Shake and Bake Family Fun Center and other organizations. So not only are we creating awareness here, we are creating awareness across other businesses where people thrive, such as the library as well, and they have a one box as well. Thank you.
If you're a business and you would like to have naloxone in your business, please reach out to MPAC.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Kevin Richardson with the Baltimore Sun. You had mentioned about that there will be videos. How will they have access to the video? Would it be a QR code that they can see on their phone, or how does that work?
So the video is actually in the box, and there are 4 boxes in this station alone. So if you open the box, it will play in English and in Spanish, and it also has the Narcan inside, along with the PPE as well.
Hey, Daniel Zawodny from the Baltimore Banner. Two-part question, quick follow-up to that. This might be a silly question, but does that mean like the boxes need to plug in and charge if there's a screen in there that's showing the video?
I love your question. I actually was waiting for it. So yes, so if you open the box and you pull down, there is a charging port. MTA is providing us electricity in order to charge the boxes. It's a small charging port that's here. It's actually playing, so I'm going to close it. But you're able to be trained, and it can be charged at any time.
Wow, that's fancy. Also, this might be a question for Administrator Arnold, but I'm wondering, is there any training available to MTA employees? Will, for example, the folks that work in the stations be trained on how to use these? And also, is there any possibility of expanding access to light rail stations and to bus stations?
Yes and yes. No, so we are partnering with nonprofits to come in and do training for our employees. We're making it voluntary, so anyone who wants to do it is able to, and can also have the Narcan available. MTA Police also have training and are trained to administer Narcan. And then your question on expanding, absolutely, we are very interested in that. We just want to make sure that we're rolling it out correctly so that light rail's a little harder because it's outside and we have to figure out the electricity and all those things. But yes, we definitely want to partner and continue to expand on this.
Thank you.
Hi, just to clarify, so is it by Friday every metro station will have these boxes? By Friday?
Yes.
And also, Are there any plans to incorporate, test strips or also put these above ground where there's more foot traffic and where people typically would use drugs if they're not in their homes?
There are some above ground stations, and then just also be reminded at Reisterstown Plaza, for example, but also be reminded that the library, all the places have the same access and the same materials. So this is about spreading the wealth beyond the traditional places that we normally would find it.
Last call for questions.
All right, Tiffany, get ready.